Hey guys, it's Paul here from Blossom. It's August the 24th, 2025. It's my birthday. I'm officially 52 years old. And if you've seen my videos before, you know one of my goals is to potentially retire this year. So we're going to take a look at my $400,000 portfolio, which is currently kicking off about $10,000 a month in dividends, and see, how I got there and whether or not maybe I am going to be able to retire with this portfolio. Anyways, guys, I've put together some spreadsheets for you so that we can take a look at some different aspects of my portfolio. I want to, answer some of the questions that people have been sending me through Blossom or commenting on my videos. So I'm kind of hoping that this video won't be too long, but that it will answer some of the questions and some of the concerns about covered call investing and whether or not it's sustainable, that type of thing, for example. Anyways, guys, so let's jump right into the first screen here. And what I have for you guys is just to explain to you how my portfolio is made up. Okay, so you can see at the top, I have a Wealthsimple non-registered account with currently just under $23,000. Now, my plan in 2026 is to move this entire amount into my tax-free savings account. And then that way, I won't be earning any taxable income. So that's about $500 a month that right now I could potentially pay tax on. It will all be tax-free. Okay, secondly, guys, I have a Wealthsimple tax-free savings account that totals 164,267. That's as of the close on the market on Friday. All right, now that is made up of a small U.S. portion and a much larger Canadian portion. All right, guys, in Wealthsimple, I have an RSP that is also U.S. and Canadian listed with a total of $154,838. Then with RBC, I have my a TFSA, which is currently at $58,841. And I have an RSP, which right now is $7,390. But I plan to move this to Wealthsimple in September. This was approximately $15,000. I asked RBC to move the money, and somehow they completely botched it. They messed it up, and they moved 8,000 out of the 15. So they left some behind, and I don't know why. So right now, my current total is 408,294. Of course, this is volatile. Next week it could go up, next week it could go down, but I'm not really concerned about that too much. Okay, so what I have for you guys here, okay, is just to show you how my portfolio balance has grown over the past 3 years. So you can see that in 2023, I finished the year, I was at $275,585, and my total distributions for that year was $35,365. Okay, fast forward to 2024, and you can see that my portfolio grew by almost 35% to $371,432. So that was a almost $96,000 increase in my portfolio size. And my dividends went up to 65,000, sorry, my distributions went up to 65,792. Now we're currently in 2025, and my portfolio, as I showed you up above, is right now just over 408,000, okay, which is about almost 10% more than it was last year or at the beginning of this year. Okay, so it's up $36,862. But the big surprise here, guys, is that my dividends, okay, take a look. So far this year is 68,373. So I have surpassed last year's distributions, and I still have 4 months to go. So I'm anticipating to get probably between $35,000 and $40,000 over the next 4 months. So I could get close to 100 grand. All right, guys. So what I want to show you now is just something I didn't used to keep track of, but I started to keep track of it so that I can show everybody when I do my my monthly portfolio reveal. I just want to show you that in July, I sold out of my YBIT position, okay, and I did that to buy more Alti. I sold out of my QQCL position, and not because I don't like QQCL, but because I wanted to get into QDay with the higher yield. I did decide to sell completely out of my SCHD position, right, because I wanted to buy more T-SPY. And I sold a little bit of my HYLD. I kept 1,000 shares of HYLD, and I put that money into more SDay and QDay. Okay, now in August, I sold out my high interest savings account so that I could give my son $3,000 towards his university. Now, I said that if YMAG paid under 10 cents, I would sell 50 shares. So every week that they pay under 10 cents, I'm going to sell 50 shares. So the last couple of weeks, it's been above, but there was one week where it was below. So I sold the YMAG to buy Alti. I did sell 300 shares of Utes in my non-registered account to pick up some more MSTE, CNVE, and LLHE just to increase my monthly distributions. Now, in one of my accounts where I was buying XEI, when the market dipped last week, I decided to sell my 40 shares of XEI and add more 100 shares of CNYE, which actually bumped up my monthly by about $35. And I also sold some bank just because while the market was down, my bank position was up. And I did that to buy more QDay and more MSTE. So that was able to increase my monthly distributions. So you can see here all the buys that I made for the month of August. Right, I bought YMAX, Alti, T-SPY, LLHE, SDay, QDay, right, ENCL, MSTE, CNYE. Oh, I got MSTE in here twice. Okay. Anyways, guys, so that's the buys and sells that I did for the month. And now we're going to take a look at my portfolio. And I'm really hoping you guys can see it well. You probably recognize this format a bit because I borrowed it from Adriano from Passive Income Investing. I thought this would be the easiest way for you guys to take a look at my portfolio. I'm not going to go through this too long, but just quickly go through each position. I did divide it into Canadian and to US. So you guys can see here that I'm obviously a big fan of Harvest because the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positions are all Harvest. Makes up about 40% of my portfolio. Okay, so let's look here. I have HHIS, right? The Harvest Diversified High Income Shares, right? I put in $55,000. Okay, it's currently paying me $14,130 annually, which is $1177 per month. All right. I have MSTE, which is the Harvest MicroStrategy Enhanced High Income Shares ETF. Okay, I have 43,000 invested into this fund, and this one is my highest payer. Now, 720 is wrong because they lowered the distribution, so I'm going to have to correct that when I get a chance. Okay, next, guys, I have the Harvest NVIDIA Enhanced High Income Shares, right? NVHE. I put $19,000 into this. Now, guys, this is all based on my book cost. So this is not the current value. Okay, this is what I've put into it. And then you can see the weighting, right? So HHIS is my largest, and then MSTE, right? Then NVHE. And it shows you how many shares I have, right? So I got 4710 of HHIS. I got 2650, 1675, right? And in this column, guys, I have the book price, as you can see. Okay, guys, let's go on to the next one. I have CNYE, which is the Harvest Coinbase Enhanced High Income Shares. I put 13,000 into this one. I have 1,125 shares. I got a really good book price of 1177. Look at the yield is 40%. Next, I think that's my next best yield to MST, which is about 40% now as well after the cut. So it is paying me 5,400 a month. A year, 450 a month. I also have TSLY, which is the Harvest Tesla Enhanced High Income Shares. Okay, I put almost $16,000 into this one. I have 1,950. Now, unfortunately, this one I bought when it was around $12 a share. So I've had to buy a lot more to DCA down to a book price of 818. But still a fantastic yield at 36%. And it's paying me 487.50 a month. Next, I have LLAG. This one I sold out of when it was high. I bought again when it was low. It's the Harvest Eli Lilly Enhanced Income Fund, right? I have a little over 10,000 in this. The yield is 26%. My book cost is 805. I think right now it's below that, so it's still a good deal, and it's paying 234 a month. Okay, guys, I picked up PLTE the day it came out. Unfortunately, I only bought 100 shares when it was $12.90. As you know, it's skyrocketed since then. So this is the Harvest Palantir Enhanced High Income Shares ETF. Guys, I think you're starting to see a trend here, right? Like I really like Harvest. I have HHI. Sorry, guys, I had a bit of difficulty there. But as you can see, right, I have my largest position is HHIS. But then I've also selected a handful of the single stocks that are probably the most popular and most volatile at the moment. And of course, like I chose the ones that were the highest payers. That's the way I like to invest, right? So these, MSTE, NVHE, right, CNYE, Tesla, LLHE, and PLTE. These are all the highest payers. Now, I did decide to pick up some Happy Tea. I don't know if I'm too happy about it, but this is the premium yield treasury ETF. It seemed like from the time that I bought it, it only went down in share price. But you know what? It's still paying a 19% yield. So I guess that's actually pretty good. Maybe I should add some more shares. For anybody who's followed me on Blossom, you know that I talk quite a bit about ENCL. I've owned it for a while. I've bought it and sold it a few times. It's the Global X Enhanced. Let me fix the screen. The Global X Enhanced Canadian Oil and Gas Covered Call ETF. I started buying this when it was, I think, just below $18 a share, and had like a 21% yield. So I sold out of HDIF to buy it. And then I sold it when it was over $21, and then I bought it back again. So currently I have 1,510 shares and my yield 16%. So I'm going to keep buying this one until oil explodes again, and then I'll probably sell some of it. I really like Evolve. I'm a big fan of Evolve. I think their CEO is very interesting to listen to. And anyway, so the two that I decided to buy are Bank and Utes. I have 11,000 in Bank and 21,000 in Utes. So let's see here. My average cost for Bank is really good because right now it's above $8. And for Utes, I'm a little bit above the current price, but around 17, almost 17%, and 17% for both of them is really good. So I consider these, like, I don't know if you can call them core positions, but just important positions in my portfolio anyways. I really like Hamilton as well. So I have HYLD. At one point, HYLD made up the largest position in my portfolio, but currently it's just 1,000 shares. But still, 13% is great. You can't complain about 13%. I have the new, I guess they're the zero DTE funds from Hamilton that pay bi-monthly. So I really like that. I decided to go with Q Day and S Day, but I didn't pick up any C Day. So right now I just have 200 shares of Q Day and 100 shares of S Day, but I would really like to bring these up, much higher than this, at least between 500 and 1,000 shares eventually. I have ETHY. I was getting close to selling out of ETHY, but I ended up buying another 600 shares to bring my cost down to $3.29. And then, as you know, ETHY exploded up above $4 a share. So now I'm I'm up like 20 or 25%, which is great. And lastly, YTSL for the Canadian stocks. YTSL I've had for a long time. I feel like this is one of the ones that really paid high before Harvest came out with its single stock ETFs. And YTSL was better than I think a lot of the split corps at the time. So I got into YTSL. I owned a lot of it. I sold some of it when it was up. And now I'm just holding on to 1,300 shares. And luckily, they just increased their dividend as well. So this is a good pair. Okay, guys. For the U.S. listed funds, okay, I got a little bit of everything. About a year ago, I decided to jump into the Rex shares, the AI and the Rex Fang and Innovation. So AIPI and FEPI. My goal was to have 100 of each, so I ended up with 110 and 105. But I'm a little bit down on my share price, but still the yields at 29 and 20, almost 22% is pretty decent. These pay out this Thursday, so I checked it out, and these two are going to help me hit my $10,000, I think, on Thursday, and then I'll get all my Friday dividends as well, which is fantastic. Then I decided to get into some of the yield max. I started with Tesla and OARC, but I sold out of OARC. So you can see, for those of you who know yield max, I have AMZ, I have Coney, Phoebe, Misty, NVIDIA, and Tesla. Some of these are obviously doing better than others in share price and distributions, but it all helps, right, guys? Like if you look at AMZ here, $122 a month, $195 a month for Coney, $64 from Phoebe, $243 from Misty, $173 from NVIDIA, and $145 from TSLY. So, I did put in the last distribution. So of course this will change. It could go up and it could go down. But for right now, I'm just kind of holding on to these, and I'm not sure if I will add to these positions or just let them ride for now. YMAG, I am down to 300 shares because I sold the 50, but 36%, can't complain about that yield. YMAX, I'm trying to build up to 100 shares, so I got to buy 30 more. I was hoping to get this done before the end of August, but it might take me a week or two in July as well. September as well. And then Alti, okay, the Yield Max Ultra Option Income Strategy ETF has been very, very popular lately. Of course, in the last week, the share price went down a little bit, so a lot of people started to panic. I'm not panicking. I'm actually surprised to have $15,000 in this, but my goal is to get to 2,000 shares. And then once I hit 2,000 shares, then I'm not going to be buying Alti anymore. I picked up PLTW from Roundhill because I really like Palantir. And I wish I had bought a lot more because it's skyrocketed. And as you can see, the dividend is crazy, 187% yield. And I only have 22 shares. So the fact that it's paying $148 a month is incredible. I used to have RDT, but now I just have QDTE, the Roundhill ETF Trust. What is this? A 100 zero DT covered call strategy. So I like QDTE. I haven't been adding to it. I got 295 shares. It pays pretty well, $400 a month. By the way, guys, I converted this all to Canadian, right? These are Canadian prices. Everything here in the US side, I converted all to Canadian. I used 1.37 as the exchange for now. I did a video recently on Defiance's QQQT and SPY-T. I think they're underperforming QQQI and SPY-I, but with a target yield of 20%, I still think they're great to have. I got 200 shares of each. I probably should have bought when this dipped, but I was busy buying other stuff, so I didn't bother. But I'm not complaining about these two. I might add to them in the future. We'll see. Lastly, from Defiance, I have QQQY and WDTE. I think this used to be called JEPI. So you got the NASDAQ 100 and you got the S&P 500. These ones did see a lot of share decline or depreciation originally, but they've leveled out quite a bit, and they still pay. So as long as they pay, I'm going to hold on to them. And last but not least, this is probably one of my favorites, is T-SPY from Tap Alpha. I did finally get to 500 shares, so I'm going to have to change this. So in September, I'll be buying the new Tap Alpha fund when it comes out. But you can see here, guys, my total book cost is $436,440. Now, keep in mind, that's not money that I invested, right? I didn't put in 436,440, right? Because a lot of these shares were purchased with distributions, okay? And my current portfolio value is actually 408. So this is slightly off a little bit as well. But yeah, please keep that in mind, guys. I did not put in this much money. This is what I contributed plus distributions. And the other thing is that in 2025, I have withdrawn 11,500. So I've actually taken money out of my portfolio this year. Anyways, you can see here my average dividend yield is 30%. Annual income, right, is 131,000, and monthly income is 10,950. Of course, this assumes that all the distributions remain the same and nothing changes for the next 12 months. Okay. So, sorry, guys, that was a lot. I know that was a lot. I hope that gives everybody kind of like an idea of what's in my portfolio and how much it's producing. So what I wanted to do was I just wanted to talk to you guys about my plans for September. So you can see here, okay, guys, I break everything into accounts, right? So in my non-registered account, I'm going to be withdrawing 100% of the distributions. In my Wealth Simple account, with the distributions that I get, I'm going to be buying MagY. Okay, I want to try this new, once I get my YMAX up to where I want it to be, which should be very, very shortly, I'm going to start buying MagY instead. In my Wealth Simple tax-free savings account in the Canadian portion, I'm going to start buying the new Harvest Shopify single stock ETF, right, where the ticker is SHPE. In my Wealth Simple RSP, okay, in the USD account, I'm going to start buying TDAC when it launches in September. In my Wealth Simple RSP account, I'm going to continue buying QDAY and SDAY. So I don't know if you see the way that I've broken this down, guys, but Shopify has a higher distribution than QDAY and SDAY, right? So I'm putting the higher one in my TFSA and the lower one in my RSP. So in my RBC TFSA account, okay, this is the account where I do my real life case study, and I'm going to continue withdrawing $1,000 a month. And then the excess money, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be buying in September, so I'll have to figure that out. And lastly, my RBC RSP account, I plan on moving it to Wealthsimple. So hopefully RBC can do that without taking too long. Okay, guys. I wanted to do one last thing with you. If you're still watching this video, I appreciate it, but I wanted to go over one other thing. If you're new to covered call investing, let's say you just opened up a position in something like HHIS, and you're worried about the share price going up and down, and are you making money? Are you losing money? Well, I decided to come up with a way to track it. Now, if you've had a covered call ETF for years, it's going to be hard to go back and add up all the dividends. But if you're starting fresh, like I am with HHIS, you could do something similar. So this is what I did, guys. I put together this little spreadsheet here where you can see, I have HHIS in 3 different accounts. Okay, you can see how many shares I have, right? So I got 1,500, 12, 10, and 2,000. Now this automatically inputs the price, right? I use the Google Finance formula. So this is the most updated price. You can see here what I actually paid, right? So my average price is here. Okay, so I got my book cost, current value, and profit loss. So right now, in all 3 accounts, I've got a profit. Now this is a paper profit, right? I haven't sold, so I haven't realized these. Then what I did was I added up all the dividends that I've made so far in each of the accounts, right? So here's the totals. Then down here, I have the total dividends plus the total equity, right? Add them together. And this is how much, if I was to sell all my HHIS today, I would walk away with $10,878. Okay, which is great. But I mean, if HHIS drops in price, this could change. But over time, I'm going to track how my HHIS does. And I've set it up to do the same thing with a few other funds as well. All right, guys. Well, that's my portfolio reveal. I'm going to do this once a month so that I can keep track of how I'm doing. I'd like to see the balance of my portfolio going up over time, but I do realize there's going to be months where the market's down and my portfolio is going to be down. Most importantly, I'm hoping to see my dividends go up. Right? I've had 3 months now where my dividends were over 9,000, and come next week on Friday, I'll be over 10,000 for August. And so fingers crossed, I'm going to try and get to $10,000 again in September, and then hopefully, again in October. And then 10,000 will be the new minimum. And then eventually bump it up to 11. But we'll have to see, right? Nobody knows what's going to happen in the market or whether or not these ETFs are going to have any distribution cuts. But overall, my portfolio has done fantastic. As you can see, the balance has gone up considerably. The distributions have gone up considerably. And as an income investor, I think that's all we could ask for. So the fact that I can produce $10,000 a month off of $400,000, I think is incredible. And at the same time, my portfolio balance is going up. So I'm going to say there is no NAV erosion at this time. All right, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Also, I will put links in the comments to Blossom. I hope everybody joins Blossom because it's a fantastic place to speak to other like-minded individuals about finances. And if you're not already on Wealthsimple and you want to join Wealthsimple, I'll put a link there as well. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.